Okay, so Apple is the company that helped popularize many of the technologies that we take for granted in day-to-day living. For example, the personal computer. Or how about the graphical operating system driven by a mouse? But there are still a few things that I wish Apple would produce and they don't currently make. And I'm going to show you a couple of them. Okay, so this is one of my new cameras. This is called a Samsung Galaxy camera. And for those who are unfamiliar with it, it's a pretty nice little just point and shoot consumer camera. However, it has one very important feature. And so besides being a pretty cool camera, it's also a completely functional Android device. So it's great that Samsung put the Android operating system on this camera, and there are a lot of advantages to that. I would like to see Apple do the same thing. I would like to see a camera with Apple's iOS on it. And I would like to see it on more than just a camera. I'll give you a good example. I'd like to see it in my car. I mean, auto manufacturers are always several years behind with their infotainment systems because of the development cycle that they use in making cars. And I really wish they would just adopt using Apple's iOS on the infotainment center. I mean, Ford has been using Microsoft's crappy entertainment center software, and they're having tons of complaints and problems with that. So I believe Ford is switching to either Linux or QNX or something like that. Well, why not Apple? I mean, I would love to see Apple's iOS running in my car. So beyond just a car, I would also like to see Apple put their iOS on a smartwatch. I mean, look at these smartwatches that you're seeing put out by Samsung that work in combination with the Galaxy phones. They're really nice watches. I'd like to have one, but it doesn't work with my iPhone. So yeah, I wish Apple would produce something like that. There were people at one point that were taking the little small iPods and putting them on wristbands, but they weren't really made to be watches, although they did look pretty cool. I thought about doing it, but yeah, Apple really needs to make a smartwatch. I keep hearing rumors about it, but I haven't seen any product. Alright, so this is another product, or something similar, that I wish Apple would produce. Now what this is this is a Commodore 64 inside of a little joystick that is meant to be plugged into a TV, and it has built-in 30 of the original, most popular Commodore games that you could play. Now there are other companies making similar products. For example, Atari makes the Atari Flashback, and there's little Pac-Man games and stuff that you can get. And there's some products out there that are made by third parties that will replicate the Amiga or the original Nintendo or Super Nintendo. And believe it or not, there is still a thriving market for retro video games. Sure, most of it's online, but you can even find stores like this one that still sell original Atari 2600 cartridges or Nintendo Entertainment System cartridges. But Apple doesn't have anything that competes in this market. So one of the things that makes this product particularly cool is it actually contains a real Commodore 64 inside. Now, it's not exactly like this. It's all been condensed down onto a single chip. And I think it has a separate chip for RAM and a separate chip for flash storage. So basically 3 chips inside this, but it essentially is a real functional Commodore 64. In fact, one of the things that was really neat about these is that you could actually take the board out of the joystick and put them in a device. And if you're good with a soldering iron, you can actually put them in a box like this and put all the input-output ports on it for video and audio and disk drives and all the normal stuff that you would have on a computer, and make it into a real Commodore 64. I mean, it doesn't look the same, but it works. And so I wish Apple would create something like this. It doesn't have to be a joystick. In fact, I would actually prefer it be something more similar to this, that you could plug a USB keyboard into it, and for storage, maybe use like USB flash drives or something like that. It would be a great product. Not just for the nostalgia of it, which that in and of itself would be cool, but I think it would also be good for education, and especially for an introduction into like embedded electronics and things like that. But it's also a great hacker toy, something that's really fun for people who are into electronics and stuff to have something they can kind of hack around and work on. And these were really popular a while back. They don't make them anymore. Which is too bad. There was some legal issues with the company that was producing these. Yeah, a lot of people had a lot of fun seeing what they could put the little boards in and do stuff with, kind of like the Raspberry Pi is being used for today. So yeah, I really wish Apple would condense this down into a single chip and produce some kind of product, just to pay homage to their history, because this is a very important piece of history. And not that the product would be extremely profitable to the company, but I don't think it would be unprofitable either. So I really wish that they would produce something like that. In fact, I'll be happy to be on the team if they'll hire me. So anyway, those are some products that I'd like to see Apple make, and hopefully they will. Put some comments in. Tell me what you think. Am I crazy? Would you like to see similar products like that as well? Let me know what you think.